Now, the first ever sitting Prime Minister of Israel is to face a criminal trial, is expected to testify in court for the first time today. Benjamin Netanyahu there, as his corruption case resumes. He's repeatedly sought to delay his appearance, where he faces charges of bribery, fraud and breach of public trust in 3 separate cases. Well, let's cross to correspondent Jordana Miller, who joins us now from Jerusalem. Jordana, it really is unprecedented, this, isn't it?
It is. This is, as you said, the first sitting prime minister to stand trial. And he has come back today. He arrived at the Tel Aviv court, and Netanyahu will begin giving testimony any minute now. And remember, it's happening amid the Gaza war, the events in Syria, the ceasefire with Lebanon. And Netanyahu tried several times to delay his testimony. The court said no. And last night, after not giving a press conference here in Israel for more than 3 months, Netanyahu spoke to the press and said that, no, he's not trying to delay his trial. He is looking forward to, as he said, getting the truth out. And that is what he's going to attempt to do today. Remember, he is facing charges of bribery, fraud, breach of trust in 3 separate cases. He has staunchly denied any wrongdoing and said that this is a witch hunt against him by his political enemies. But for all of us here in Israel that have been covering not only his indictment, but even the first few years of this trial where several witnesses took the stand, many testifying, for example, in case 4000, where Netanyahu is accused of bribery, many editors taking the stand from the Walla news site and saying that Netanyahu, through various different mediators, played a very big role in the headlines, killing stories, the hiring and firing of journalists. And this is part of the case that the state is trying to make against Netanyahu, that in exchange for pushing through a merger of a huge telecom agency, he was given the free hand in trying to craft public opinion in his favor in one of Israel's most widely read and popular news sites. That is just one case. There are other cases about taking favors and illicit gifts. The big case for Netanyahu really is the bribery case, because if he is charged with this, it not only carries potential jail time, but it would kick him out of politics for 7 years, because it often comes with a charge of moral turpitude. Having said all that, Netanyahu will be on the stand for the next several weeks, 3 times a week for 6 to 7 hours a day. And this trial is expected to go on for another year before there is a verdict. So we're still a far way out.
Jordana, where would you say Netanyahu stands at the moment in the minds of the Israeli people? I mean, obviously there was been an awful lot of criticism of him from families of hostages, perhaps more right-wing members of Israeli society much happier with him with what happened with Hezbollah, but then perhaps not so happy over the latest peace deal.
There were hundreds of protesters outside the court today. Netanyahu remains a deeply divisive leader of this country. The last time he was in court for his corruption trial, you could say that the base had rallied around him, and it maybe even helped him to be seen as a leader that was persecuted by political enemies. But that is certainly not the case years later, after the calamity and the huge failure of October 7th, which Netanyahu deserves blame for, and even the controversial way many people here in Israel believe he has led the war, including dragging his feet, some say, on getting a ceasefire and bringing home 96 Israeli hostages, a deal that would essentially bring down his government and push him out of power. And that conflict of interest is one of the main reasons so many people have a problem with Netanyahu, believing that his own personal political interests have come before the country. the corruption trial and all of the accusations against him are just really the first layer now as he comes back to court.
Jordana, thanks very much. Jordana Miller joining us live there from Jerusalem.
Thanks, Stephen.